was more than just an elephant. For 54 years, his almost grown sweeping tusks brushed the ground as he strutted across Amboseli savannah. Like the colossus he was, he moved with certainty, knowing where to find water when the droughts came, following paths carved by generations before him. He was a teacher to younger bulls, a living map of the land, a symbol of resilience and continuity. People traveled from across the globe to witness his presence. His life supported livelihoods and inspired awe. Now, Craig has passed. We traveled to Amboseli to understand him, not just as an icon, but through the eyes of those who knew him best. The researchers who studied him, the rangers who protected him, and the communities who lived alongside him, sharing the heartbeat of the land he called home.
I've known Craig for so long. I met him together with the late Tim. And I personally, if I talk about my life, it's all about elephants. Back in 2022, 23, when we had a very bad drought here, that I saw Craig dying, so I started feeding him. I bought him hay until April, when the rains of 2023 arrived. Losing Craig is like losing myself or any other person that is very close to me. Elephants are not just wildlife according to people or other people, but to me, that is what I chose to do. I chose to do conservation, particularly elephants.
When I joined the project, I met Craig when he was 13 years old. So I know him so well since he was a teenager. Craig was the big tusker, one of the big tuskers we had in Amboseli population of elephants. Craig is from CB family because elephants, they live in families. They have family from family AA, BB, CB. So the families in AA, they have names started by A. So when you go to CB family, all of them in CB family, they have a name started by letter C. So when the project started in 1972, Cynthia found Craig and her sister Cerise. They were the same age. And she thought they were twins because they were suckling one female. Her name was Kadra. The more he got older, the more he came so calm, and people, even there's a time reach, people are just taking pictures with the Craig. It was not like a wild elephant. It was like a tame elephant. He was so calm. And anyway, we love Craig so much.
We interacted very closely with Craig. Craig, as you know, was iconic. It was a very huge elephant. Standing on the shoulder, Craig was more than around 3 meters tall. It had ground sweeping tasks. It understood that people needed to take his photograph. So he would pose literally for people to get a glimpse of him and experience him. Because of the tourism element and because people, tour operators and tour companies, international tourists, local tourists, everybody seemed to have known about Craig. So people from the local communities also used to follow Craig and to track him literally.
The Maasai people loved him truly because He was a very gentle elephant. He can just pass next to a village. Sometimes you find him grazing with cows, sheep, and goats, and the kids are just there. The Maasai people, they lost a very, very important elephant. There's so many people who benefited from him. There's some individual, Maasai, who worked as guide or trackers, leading the photographers to photograph him.
In Amboseli, I can say we are so lucky with the community. Okay, earlier days, they were just peering them, but to show how brave they are. Okay, Big Five, they're spelling Big Five. Then after education, they stopped completely. And the community, they gave him his name, new name, Kilusu. Kilusu means big tusk than the others. Kilusu. People before, they were thinking maybe Craig is the oldest elephants we have in Amboseli. But no, the oldest is Ganesh, who was born 1963. Now she is 63 years old. So it's genetic. They're those ones, they have huge tusks. It's just like people. We have people, tall people, short people.
Craig was old. Of course, not the oldest. And with his age, all slightly above 50, you expect some conditions that will be attributed to his age, his manner of behavior around, and many changes will affect him. Unfortunately, recently he fell sick and presented with some discomfort, restlessness, and pain, and also some distensions of the abdomen. And unfortunately, the condition prolonged to an extent that it costed his life.
These are some of the remains of elephants that have died here in Amboseli, most of them as a result of natural causes. Just like Craig, they have survived an era of poaching, climate change, human-wildlife conflict, and shrinking habitat. Does this indicate that conservation is bearing fruits?
We've been having no cases of poaching for a very long time, and that has been as a result of this kind of collaboration. We are able to get information in time. KWS is also well equipped in terms of rangers now, in terms of the vehicles and other resources. And so in collaboration with the local communities who are our first line of defense, we are able to monitor this wildlife, we are able to respond, we are able to prevent any illegal wildlife activities within this ecosystem. That has been a success story here.
The problem we have now is the space. The space is still there. But how do we protect this space? The only way is to let the community own conservation and tourism. Because conservation without tourism, there's nothing. And tourism without conservation is nothing.
In due respect of the interest that have risen from Craig's death, we thought it wise to preserve him for future generations. So the specimen have been taken to National Museums of Kenya for storage and maybe preservation for a conservation story in future.
He left a legacy within the ecosystem. Some of young males who are coming up, and I believe they will be big taskers. We have so many of Craig's babies around. And he trained a lot of them. He was a very wise elephant. I believe he left a legacy within the ecosystem.
Why an elephant, you may ask? It is a keystone species. Protecting it safeguards the entire ecosystem. Craig now joins a list of legendary tuskers that came before him. Ahmed of Marsabit, Tim Satao of Savo was killed by poachers, Lugard, Tolstoy, among others. Today, fewer than 30 super tuskers remain in East Africa, underscoring the urgency of conservation efforts. Craig's life and his legacy placed that reality into sharp focus.
Craig is gone, but these elephants still carry his legacy.